share with us insights about what India is buying?
Oh, it's, I think one of the biggest surprises for us has been how again, the biggest strength, which for a lot of people is physical distribution, and was actually limiting them from experiencing real India's purchase power. And a lot of companies, especially younger companies, even in consumer products, right, have 50-60% of their revenues coming from metros, right, and then almost 70-80% coming from tier 1, right? And the belief is really the premium population, etc., lies here. Right? If you look at folks like us who are we are not racist around geography, right? We don't care urban, tier 1, tier 2, right? Wherever the consumer has interest in buying power, right, we are willing to deliver in that pin code today. Right? Suddenly for us, 60% plus of our revenue is coming from tier 2 and beyond. And I mean, that has been the biggest surprise for us. I mean, last quarter we would have serviced 3,000 plus cities and towns in India. And that kind of depth was just unimaginable 5-7 years ago. And that has been the biggest surprise.
What are the next big triggers that you're working on as a company today?
I think our vision is fairly clear. We you know, I mean, if I could say, our aspiration or our desire is to be the #1 FMCG company in India in the beauty and personal care sector, right? So that is what we are gunning towards, and I think we see the journey to be bright and very positive. Focus, of course, is on a sustainable business and growing sustainably. So I think in any brand's life, or in any, for that matter, business's life, there are phases, right? There's a growth phase when you're investing disproportionately to grow your base, to get to more consumers. Then there is a phase where you're trying to work out your unit economics and see that, okay, this growth is sustainable. And then there is profitability, like we call it, right? That you're able to grow the business profitability and get the juice out of it. So I think we are on the third phase right now. We have our core brand, which is Mamaearth, which is growing really well. It will continue to grow as fast. And then we have our new engines, which are currently in the growth phase, I would say, where we need to put in investments to get them to a level where then they start. And the good thing is that we are breaking our own records. So what Mamaearth achieved in a particular time are actually new brands and new engines are breaking all of those records and growing much faster with I would say better P&L for if that's the word that I can use. But I think those are the green shoots that we are seeing. We will continue to invest in that. And the other thing which is going to be very important to us is building our team and building very strongly. So like we were talking about, right? 2 of us inside the office or outside the office doesn't actually impact the business. That continues to run the way it is, and that has been our biggest strength. So that's something that we'll continue to focus on.
Yeah, and Varun, I want you to come in on that, because I think that is a very important issue that often doesn't get enough attention. But I know that you have been very consciously been trying to beef up your board by bringing people onto your board, people who understand the business, but also in a sense institutionalize the business so that it's not overly dependent or overly reliant on the two of you.
Yes, no, I think both have their own strong value. I mean, on the board side, I think most startups largely have boards which are comprised of investor directors. And two things wrong with that, purely that mix, right? One,
they're conflicted.
Clearly there is conflict. Right? And two, not necessarily. Right? They have, while they might have seen sectors or other startups, right? They might not have seen the next level of governance standards which are required to take the company to the next level, right? Or seen actual regulation, MCA, and what kind of compliance pieces are required at different points of time, right? So I think on that front, we have felt that independent directors, right, specifically folks who have different kinds of skills and experiences, bring a lot of value to the table, right? And it's been phenomenal how much value addition we have seen. And of course, you also need to become a little more mature and a little more well-behaved. You need to sort of, understand that, the quality of board meetings, the quality of pre-reads, the quality of the data that gets shared, and at timely how you share it sort of needs to go up significantly. So you need to gear up, right? But the advantages are just amazing, right? And that gearing up side is where then you need the right team, right? I think at different phases, right, of the business, as founders, you also need to reinvent what your core focus areas should be, and for what kind of areas and roles, right, do you now need professionals who can deliver significantly better value than probably you would with the limited bandwidth that you have, right? And basis that a new organization design needs to take shape, right? And at least in our case, every 2 years, right, we've sort of worn that hat and looked at a new organization design and then brought in the right people who then we believe will take us to where we need to get to the next level, right? So I think actively we need to keep doing it, right? It is not a process which stops.
The aspiration of wanting to be India's #1 FMCG company. And Varun, I'll start by asking you, what are the next milestones along that journey?
Shane, firstly, it's a very long journey, right? And we have to be very long-term oriented and think about this as a multi-decadal build and opportunity, right? Is how we are looking at it, right? Because I don't think we're the only ones who have this dream, and I'm sure there are others.
ITC's been dreaming of that for a long time.
Yeah, right. I mean, of course, there is. वो कहते सूरज से ज़्यादा चमकना है तो सूरज से पहले उठना पड़ेगा, right? तो I think we will need to work really hard, right? And we will need to not only work hard this year, next year, but probably for a couple of decades, right? To take this there, right? And keep it there, more importantly, right? And then, focusing on building the right organization, building the right board, getting the right partners from an investment perspective. Right? The landscape is just fascinating. It's fabulous. I mean, we have one of the lowest per capita consumptions of beauty, lower than Bangladesh, in fact, right? Hence, the way is just up, right? Penetration of categories like face washes is just 30% in India, right? This is going to reach 85% levels over the next 10 years, right? Women joining workforce is a massive trend over the next couple of decades. We're already seeing very good leading indicators, like, for example, secondary school participation of girls has overtaken boys now. It was 45% in 2005, became 82% in 18, and now is ahead of boys. Right? Very strong lead indicator. The next couple of decades, these girls are going to come in and change the landscape. And when they come in, of course, it's amazing for the economy, right? But specifically for the category beauty and personal care, right? It's a massive delta that trend leads to. Right? And I hope next time we are here, we will see a lot more female faces in this room.
I can't agree more with you. I certainly do hope we will see more women.
It's both in the country and in our personal interest, right? I mean, we are a very diversity-focused organization. We are 51% women, in fact, right? And we just believe it makes a huge difference, right? And I think those things make us feel that India is in a beautiful golden spot, right? As long as you keep doing the right things, keep focusing on where you can create value from, how do you service the consumer better than others, right? The opportunity is ours to take, right? We will keep building.
And are you looking outside of the domestic market, at least within the region?
So yes, but tactically, right? Strategically, we are very long and bullish on India. Like I said, management bandwidth is the most important resource in the company, right? And you need to see a rupee of revenue incrementally that you generate, right? where should it come from and where it has the longest tail of growth, right? And we believe India is that market where incremental rupee of revenue for a consumer company is far more valuable than any other place. But we also have always believed in working on new engines of growth, right? And keeping them ready, right, to make sure that the company continues to sort of grow, right? Which is why, for example, GCC is one region that we are bullish on, right? We entered here about an year back, and the region continues to show very strong positive growth for us. We are now in all offline kind of chains as well in Dubai, from Lulu to Carrefour. We just went in Qatar, in Oman. We're going to Bahrain this year. So GCC is one area, right, where we'll continue to have some flag in the ground and keep building the business sustainably. Right? But majority of management bandwidth as well as investments are all India focused.
Varun and Ghazal, we wish you the very best of luck as you go about trying to build India's #1 FMCG company. Thank you so much for so authentically sharing your story here.